You're listening to the North Parkway Podcast, weekly talks designed to help you take the next step in your spiritual journey. You can learn more about our church at northparkway.org. And if these talks are helpful to you, consider using the link in the description to give. Your financial support helps us continue to make great content. All right, well, that's enough intro. Let's get to today's talk.
Well, Christmas is right around the corner, which means it's time to brush up on your, "Oh, this is great, thanks so much," response. Because we know that sometimes you have to fake that response. We could tell that sometimes you're not actually excited to unwrap the thing. Most of the stuff you get for Christmas is probably going to be awesome, but some of you guys are going to have that, "Oh, thanks so much," because Grandma forgot that she bought you literally the exact same sweater that she bought you last year. And you never wore the one that you got last year except that one weekend when she came over to visit, right? Some of you guys know what that's like. Put that on because Grandma bought it for you. Uncle Larry didn't realize that you had a whole wish list on Amazon, and he got you a 3-pack of men's soap, and you're like, "I don't use this stuff." Okay, thanks so much. That's so great. Wow. I'm so happy to open that. I've had plenty of times practicing that. When I was a kid, this is going to date me a little bit. My uncle was, you guys remember Y2K? It's been a little while. My uncle was a major Y2K prepper. And he ended up with more boxed stuff than he needed. It's a true story. The next Christmas, all of us got like Bisquick and powdered milk for Christmas. Thanks, Uncle Tim. That's just what I wanted as a, Y2K, right? As a 17-year-old. Wow, that was awesome. Sometimes you have to do that, right? Sometimes disappointment comes at Christmas time. That's natural. That's normal. Usually you can take it back to Walmart if they got it from there. But sometimes disappointment sticks around. Sometimes disappointment sort of becomes this infection and it becomes disillusionment. And that's a totally different story. Disillusionment is not a momentary feeling. Disillusionment is a lingering feeling. It's a lingering depression, and it can kind of overwhelm the joy of what's supposed to be a really happy time of the year. Some of you guys know what that's like, but let me describe disillusionment. Okay, disillusionment is that moment when you realize that what you have is not what you were hoping for. This is not what you thought it would be. Some of you guys know what it's like to buy your first home, and maybe a year or two in, or a project or two in, or a plumbing repair or two in, you say, "Being a homeowner is not what I thought it would be." Some of you ladies, you were so excited to become a mother, and I just want a baby of my own. And then you became a mom, and at some point at 3:42 a.m., you said, "Being a mother is not what I thought it would be." Sometimes being a Christian is not what I thought it would be. Sometimes being a Cowboys fan is not what I thought it would be. When I started with this thing, they were winning Super Bowls, and this is not happening lately. Disillusionment, and it stinks. And I don't want to feel that way at Christmas time. I want to have the full capacity to lean into the joy and the hope and the laughter and the fun times and the great food and the hugs. I want all of that stuff to really feel, and I don't want to be in the moment, but disillusionment can make that hard. Today, I want to show you what could be a powerful antidote for disillusionment. And it's found in a really old truth, a vintage idea that you've all heard before. But as we talked about throughout our series this month, if something was ever true to begin with, it's still true today. If something was ever meaningful for the human species, if something was ever a cure for a problem before, it's still a powerful cure today because the truth is still true no matter how old it is. Now, I want to share that truth with you, but I'm going to give you a forewarning here. Number one, you've all heard this before, so it's nothing new. Number two, some of you in the room, the moment that we say today's old truth, some of you are going to roll your eyes and and find an app on your phone to play with. Just don't do that, okay? And another group of you, the moment that we say this, you're going to do, yes, you're going to do that number that we used to do in the 90s. I don't know why it's like, yes, this is how we express. If you're on the podcast, I'm sorry. It's that thing where you pull your elbow back with a clenched fist. Yes. I don't know why that means happiness, but it does. Okay, some of you guys are going to do that, and you're going to be like, honey, go get the teenager, right? Bring him in here. Don't do that either. Okay, we'll have equal opportunities to disappoint everybody, no matter where you are, as we encounter the truth. But it's a simple thing. Kate, we're going to skip right past that to the next slide. And here's today's truth, okay? Old school, I know, but we don't have it. We don't have it. Okay, I'm just going to tell it to you. Today's old truth is this: you should work hard. You should work hard. Man, that is not exciting. That's not what I hear. Do we have any of the slides, or we don't have any of them? Okay, then you're just going to have to listen really close today. Okay, just leave the vintage thing up there. We'll be okay. It's easy. Today's truth is an old idea. You should work hard. Now, some of you are thinking, what does that have to do with disillusionment? Let me draw the connection real quick, and then we'll talk about where God said you should work hard. Disillusionment is something that happens when you were expecting something that you didn't get. And you never get disillusioned if you get more than you expected. Have any of you guys, because I see these people online, this has never happened to me. Anybody ever bought one thing on Amazon and by mistake they sent you a whole box of them? That, I've seen people that happen to. Or when they're doing your makeup and that you put the two small things from Sephora.com, they accidentally put like a really nice one in there too. Like, woohoo! Nobody is disillusioned when you get better than what you expect. We only feel that when we get less than what we expect. And it's not just like, oh, that was surprising. Oh, well, we feel that way, and I've been there too. We feel that way when I was expecting something better than what I got. When I feel like I deserve something better than how this turned out. When I feel like, here's the key word, when I feel like I'm entitled to something better than what I got. Now, some people, the moment I say entitled, right? Young people, stick with me, okay? Because that has been like a big mallet that the older generations have whacked the younger ones on the head with. These young people are so entitled today. Nobody wants to work. Okay, we're going to talk about it. But God expects us to work hard. In fact, the fact that he even says work hard is a thing, that should tell us that life is not easy. But you should work hard. Romans 12:11 says, never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord enthusiastically. Philippians 2:12 says, work hard to show the results of your salvation, obeying God with deep reverence and fear. Okay? And I can take you through from the beginning of the book all the way to the end. Hard work has always been an expectation. Okay, from the very beginning of human history, God makes this garden. He puts the man and the woman in, and he says, you have a job. I want you to work. Tend to the crops. Name the animals. Repopulate the earth. Now, if only all of the hard work were as fun as telling the man and the woman, repopulate the whole earth. Okay, if you have kids, you know how that happens. Yes. I'll take that hard work. Sometimes it's not that easy, okay? God expects you to work hard. See, you didn't think we were going to have fun today. You didn't know. We have fun here. God expects you to work hard. But that truth alone will not cure disillusionment. In fact, that truth alone, depending on how you apply it, could actually make disillusionment worse. There are different groups of people who have different ideas of what hard work actually means. Let me talk to you about a few of them today. The first group, I have titled the heiress, okay, to the fortune. And some people, they kind of live that way. Now, some of you ladies are like, why did you have to make that? Ladies, that doesn't seem fair. Well, here's why, because I knew that if I just said heir, everyone listening online would think A-I-R. So heiress, there you go. Sorry, ladies. This happens to guys too. But here's the idea. The heiress says you should work hard, write this down, when you're motivated. You should work hard when you're motivated. But otherwise, working hard is not really a fair thing to ask. If I'm not feeling it today, I shouldn't have to work hard. I should work hard when I want to because I feel motivated to work hard today. And everybody knows somebody like this. Okay? And let me just be clear. They're not all young people. There are plenty of people who have lived a long time who still feel like they should have the same thing as everybody else, whether they worked for it or not, because everybody should have this. Right? Everybody should have free this. Everybody should have free this. Everybody should have 10 of these. I always tell my kids, I want everybody to have all of those things, but nothing in life is free. Everybody should have free stuff means I shouldn't pay for it, but somebody else should. And it's easy when you look at life that way. It's easy to get into this idea that I should have, I deserve, I am entitled to a certain standard of living, a certain amount of things working out okay, a certain amount of health in my body, a certain type of relationship, a certain way of being treated by the people closest to me. I deserve that. I'm entitled to that because I'm a person too. And I want to be careful here because that view, the view that says work should primarily be about giving me a creative outlet and bringing fulfillment into my life, that's actually not a bad thing when it's in balance, because really, you were designed to work. God put man in the garden. I've said this before, but don't forget, God assigned work to humanity before there was sin in the world. The idea of working is not a punishment. It's something that brings meaning and purpose. And there are those in our country for sure, because this is a hardworking nation overall. There are those that are just putting their heads down in a dead-end job that they truly actually hate. And maybe there's something better out there that would be fulfilling and would give some creative outlet. And so it's not entirely wrong to say, I want work to be fulfilling for me. The problem is, and you might have noticed this, the person who holds the lien on your truck, they don't care if you feel like going to work today or not, right? The bill is due when it's due. And if you're not motivated, they're going to come and take it away, right? The idea that I only work when I feel motivated, it creates a sense of entitlement. And if I am forced, if I'm compelled to work hard when I'm really not feeling it today, I feel as though I have been wronged. When that disillusionment comes in, life is not supposed to be this way. Something is broken. We all know somebody like this, the heiress. But that's not the only way that people view work. See, we also have people that see work and their whole idea, their whole self-concept is being a worker. I brought my tool belt because sometimes I'm a bit of a worker. Write this down in your notes. The worker says you should work hard to earn good things. Here's why God says to work hard, because if you want something, you got to work and earn it. And we all know somebody like this. You should work hard to earn good things. We all know somebody who walks through life like this because they will tell you over and over, I built this company with my own two hands back in 1924, and I didn't have two dimes to rub together, but I turned them into whatever, and somehow miraculously, we all know that the cliche, when I was a kid, we had to walk to school through the snow uphill, and we whistled, and we liked it. And you all know somebody that when they were a kid, they had it 5 times as bad as you, and they were somehow twice as good at you than you are at doing it. And it is just, you just want to, right? Just stop. Okay? Work ethic is good. But here's the problem. If you see work as a purely transactional thing, and many do. Many who work really hard are very proud of the fact that they're hardworking, and work ethic is good. But if you see work ethic as purely a transactional deal, I work hard so that I can get what I have earned, then that creates a different kind of problem. You see, there's this false idea that the young generation, and I've been wrapped into that generation before, okay? So those of you guys who are younger than me, look, I've been right in the crosshairs of this too. Young people are so entitled. Here's what I've noticed. Young people who expect to be given stuff without working are entitled. But workers are some of the most entitled people on the planet too. Let me show you how that happens. Okay. I've worked hard for this company for 16 years. I've been the first one in the door. I've been the last one out. I've generated more work for this business. I've come up with the good ideas. I covered for these people. I was there when they needed somebody to work overtime, and I didn't even log all of my hours. I have worked so hard. I've earned this position. And here they are giving it to this 26-year-old yuppie. I deserve that. And I didn't get it. Or, I've spent 26 years putting up with all of the burps and the burp jokes and the passing gas jokes. I put up with the laundry on the floor. I put up with all of this stuff. I've been a loving and devoted and faithful wife. I've been so patient, and he doesn't even remember which day is our anniversary. I have earned a little bit of princess treatment, and I'm not getting it. It's not fair. Or how about this one? Okay. This one I know very well because, well, you'll see in a minute. Okay? Sometimes you put on this worker belt and you do stuff and you end up saying something like this. Listen here, young man, I have put a roof over your head. I've put food in your belly. I've wiped your rear end in the middle of the night when you pooped your pants for the 4th time because your diapers were... I've done all of this stuff for you. I've never raised my fist in anger to you. I don't deserve this kind of disrespect. Anybody ever heard that or said that before? Some of you guys are laughing because this sounds oddly familiar. Okay, I've been there. And here's what happens. If you purely see working hard and work ethic as a transactional deal, then you feel like you have earned good things. And when you don't get what you feel like you earned, you've been wronged. You were entitled to something better, and life didn't get you what you were entitled to, and that entitlement leads to disillusionment. Ultimately, both the heiress and the worker end up in the same place. I was expecting better, I deserve better, and I'm frustrated because I'm not getting what I should have. I got a bad hand of cards dealt to me. Rob doesn't have to deal with this kind of stuff. Why do I? It's easy to be there. That's why there's a third way to apply this old truth. It's the one that God intended, and I will be totally honest with you. I set you up at the beginning when I read those Bible verses about work, because I only read a little piece, because I wanted to wait for the dramatic reveal to show you why we work hard, and the why is what makes a difference. Let me read these 2 passages. Oh, okay, and we're back. All right. Let me read these 2 passages to you, and then we'll get back to the stuff on the screens. So Romans 12:11 says, never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord. But here's what's interesting, and you'll see this if you're following along on the Bible app. A few verses before in Romans 12:1, the Bible says, give your bodies to God because of all he's done for you. Oh, cool, we got it. Okay. Our tech team is so awesome that in the middle of the sermon, they got notes. Let's give a hand to this. Way to go. You guys rock. Sorry about that, crew. Okay? This is so, you can't miss this, all right? Before he says, never be lazy, but work hard. Before he says, hey, here's why I do it. Because of all he has done for you. Philippians 2:12 does say work hard to show the results of your salvation. But before, okay, put that up on the screens since we got it. Before he does that, all right, Philippians 2:12. Okay, do we have the other ones? Philippians 2:5? That's okay, I can read it. Yes, we do. All right. Before he says work hard, watch this. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had, though he was God, okay, listen to this. He did not think of equality with God as something to cling to, but instead he gave up his divine privileges. He gave up what he was entitled to. He said, I'm entitled to better, but I'm not going to hang on to it. I'm going to choose to not have what I'm entitled to. And he took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. And then the Bible says, you need to work hard. See, the last thing to write down in your notes is this. You need to treat your work ethic like the servant. See, the servant does work hard, but for a different reason. I'm just going to tuck those in. All right? The servant works hard as a response to God's work. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I am working hard, and I'm giving great effort. But the servant doesn't just work hard when she or he is feeling motivated. The servant works hard because he worked hard. And the servant doesn't just work hard in order to earn a reward. The servant works hard knowing he might get a good reward and he might not. Or knowing that that reward might not show up until she's in heaven. But she's not working hard just to get a reward. She's working hard because God has worked hard on her behalf. And that is the piece that does change things. That is the piece that does start to chip away at the entitlement that causes us to become disillusioned. As Natasha comes back up, that's the piece that we need to come back to this Christmas season. Because Christmas is the perfect time to remember that He's the one who gave so much first. God does expect us to work hard, but you got to remember, before God ever told the man and the woman in the garden to work, He rolled up His sleeves and worked hard to create the garden. Before God gave the law to the nation of Israel, God gave the land to the nation of Israel and said, you used to be slaves, but now you're free. I've given you this whole land to be yours. And as a response to God's goodness, He says, here's a way that you can give back to me and serve. Now I want you to act this way. And before Christ said, if you want to follow me, you must deny yourself and take up your cross, He denied Himself and took up His cross. My serving is a response to what He's done for me. And when I start to feel like I have had an unfair deal in life, and believe me, man, I've had those times. If you've never had that time where you go, God, why me? Just wait, you will. Okay? I've had those. I've had those prayers and I say, God, what did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? Why are these people treating me this way? Why does it not work when I do the same things? Why is my body breaking down in this way? Why is my finance getting broken in this way? Many of you guys have had those moments. Maybe you're in those moments. And please don't miss my heart. I would never make light of those scenarios because that is real pain and discomfort and suffering for many of you that inspire that, God, why me? And the reality is coming back to an understanding that I'm the servant and I serve because He served me first, that doesn't actually change the physical reality of the hand that you were dealt. And some of those things, some of those are hard. I understand. Some of you are going through this Christmas season and maybe quietly or maybe not, you're thinking, this is not how I thought marriage would be. Why me? Why am I the one giving and not the one receiving? Some of you guys are dealing with physical problems that nobody at your age should be dealing with that yet. And you say, why? Why me? I didn't live as a daredevil when I was a young person. I didn't spend a whole decade strung out on drugs. Why? Why is this breaking down in me? It's not right. It's not fair. Some of you guys are thinking, man, I thought retirement would be different than this. This is not what I signed up for. I thought high school would be different than this. I thought when I finally get to college, it would be different, and it's the same. And I would never make light of those things. But the truth is, when I feel that I have gotten a bad deal, when I feel like what I have received is unfair, but I come to the baby in the manger, I get perspective again, and I remember, wait a minute, I've already been given so much better than I deserve. It puts my life back in perspective. Because, my friends, I am owed nothing. I have earned destruction. But instead of what I am owed and what I have earned, Christ came down to serve me and said, I'm going to bless you immensely. I'm going to give you citizenship in my kingdom. I'm going to adopt you as a son. You're going to get to be with me forever when you die, and I'm going to be with you every step of life, encouraging you and picking you back up and putting you back on the path. I have all of that. And the things that I feel like I am owed and I've earned, they start to fade into the background. And I say, yeah, I wish that was different, but God, thank you. And you see, gratitude has a way of overshadowing entitlement and disillusionment. And Christmas is the season where we remember that God came to serve human. It's just, man, no matter how many times I say that, it's always striking to me that he denied his privilege and what he was entitled to and lived in squalor just to save me and you. It's awesome. And if you're wrestling with that disillusionment, I would encourage you, take time this season. When you sing those songs, when you read the Christmas story, when you watch the Christmas movies, take time to remember all of this is celebrating God serving you. And that awe and wonder, it just has a way of swallowing up and covering over all of the disappointments in life. And they're still there, but more than those now, man, I'm grateful. God has been good. God is good to me. And that's the antidote for disillusionment.
Hey, this is Pastor Chris again. Thanks for listening. If today's talk was helpful in your spiritual life, odds are there's someone you know who could benefit from it. Take a minute right now to share it with them. And if you live in the area, come try out a service in person, because church is more fun with friends. See you next time.